Hey everyone, thanks for watching the Arkansas Gun Guy, where today I want to spend a few minutes looking at H&K's various safety systems on their hammer-fired weapons. Mostly around the versions that you see offered when you buy an H&K pistol, whether it's called a V1, V2, V3, V7, whatever. What does that mean, and what are they talking about when they talk about a multifunction lever or an LEM trigger or a rear decocker? So the first thing I want to say is that every single weapon does not have the same code. For example, a V1 and a USP may be a double action, single action, where a V1 and a P30 is actually an LEM trigger. And we'll talk about all those in just a second. So I thought I'd talk about the evolution of the guns and kind of what each of those variants means. And I'll start with the USP. Actually, first, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. It helped me grow my little channel as I try to just get more viewers. So again, thanks for watching. First, it all kind of started with the USP, which was modular in many ways. Prior to this, H&K had made some really iconic, cool, awesome pistols that I still want and can't afford, but they were really over-engineered and incredibly expensive, and they couldn't sell them to local or to militaries because you could buy 2 or 3 polymer guns for the price of one of the complicated H&K squeeze pistols, for example. So they went to work on the USP, and they chambered this guy. It started with the 40 Smith & Wesson caliber that was hot at the time, then quickly introduced it in 9mm, and then later in 45 ACP. So it was modular from that design that would fire many calibers. But also, they wanted to appeal to as many people as possible, so they gave them tons and tons of options for safeties. Let me do a quick safety check on this gun before I'm pulling the trigger. So you can see the weapon is empty. So this one is actually a V1 for the USP, which means it has a multifunction lever on the left-hand side, nothing on the right. I'll tell you that V2 has the same multifunction lever on the right-hand side, good for left-handed shooters like me. You can see that I don't get to enjoy that function on when I shoot because it's on the other side. Now, you can also buy kits to flip it around and take it to a gunsmith and so forth, but this came as a V1 with a multifunction lever on the right side. So what's a multifunction lever? Well, again, H&K wanted to appeal to as many people as possible, so they put a safety and a decocker on here. So if you were comfortable carrying 1911s previously and you want to carry this gun cocked and locked, you could put one in the chamber, rack the weapon, so the hammer is ready to go. Put the safety on, and the gun is ready to fire just when you release the safety. So just like a 1911, you could carry it cocked and locked. But what if you didn't want to carry it cocked and locked? You could also still rack the chamber, load one in, and when the hammer is back, you could then decock it so it lowers the hammer without striking the ammo. And now you have one in the chamber, and you can fill up your magazine to have a +1. And then you have a very heavy double action, single action pull. So the hammer's down, your first pull is probably a double digit 10, 11 pound pull. And then every subsequent shot is a short reset. So again, the multifunction lever serves as both a safety and a decocker. Now this evolves over time, and actually, again, I won't go through all the variants. I'll actually list them, all this links to H&K's website for each of these pistols in the description below, and you can see what they are. But if you're looking for a variant that talks about multifunction lever, this is it. Again, this is V1, which is on the left, V2's on the right, and so forth. Now, they also make variants that are safeties only. You can pop it up like this, but it doesn't decock it. I actually have one of those right here. This is the P30L. Let me, again, safety check this guy. And weapon's clear. So this one I have just cocked. So imagine you're loading one in the chamber, and you can operate on safe again, carry it cocked and locked. But this one does not have the decocker. It's safety only. So super interesting there. Now, I'll also talk about the evolution of the USP. After the USP came the P2000. And one thing the P2000 did, it sleeked up to make it more concealable and easy to carry. The side, they didn't have the multifunction lever. They had 2 options for safety. The LEM trigger, which I'll talk about at the end because it's the most complicated probably, but they also had a rear decocker, which is not on this gun. This is LEM. So sorry to switch guns on you again, but a rear decocker looks just like this. So again, the P2000 after the USP, sleek it up. They didn't offer the multifunction lever. They offered either LEM or this rear decocker. Again, safety check. Weapon's empty. So you have the weapon, you've got one in the chamber, and then to decock it, you can't carry it cocked and locked because there's no safety. So to decock it, you push the button on the back, right here with either thumb or your finger. I'll do my finger. I'll try my finger, try my thumb. And that decocks it without striking the ammunition again. So now you have one in the chamber, and your safety function is really your thumb on the hammer as you holster the weapon. So most negligent discharges happen as you're holstering the weapon. So put your thumb on that hammer as you holster it, and you should be good to go. So, but again, now you have one in the chamber with a big, heavy first pull, which really acts as your safety, because if you're not accidentally going to do that. You have to really want to pull the trigger for that first pull, and then the subsequent shots are all really short resets. So that is a rear decocker that started on the P2000 as they tried to kind of sleek it up a little bit. And then to complicate things even further, H&K says, what if we give you a multifunction, a safety here and a decocker there? I forget what variant that's called, but they have the option as well. Again, my P30, which I just safety checked, so we'll do it again, has the safety only here, but I can also decock it and carry it on safe, or just with one in the chamber, and again, putting my thumb on the hammer as I holster it to prevent a disfire. So again, multifunction levers that function as safeties and decockers, rear decockers only, and combination of both, safety and rear decocker. So those are all just different variants you may read about when you are researching H&Ks. And they're all good. You may like one more than others. I know some people are nuts about hating safeties. If that's your thing, that's fine. H&K has plenty of options for you and lots of awesome guns. The last one I'll talk about is the LEM trigger, which is something that I think only H&K does, and it is really cool. It's a really awesome option. It's an option. It's a option that I can't shoot very well. So again, the weapon is clear. You'll see that this gun has no safety and no rear decocker. It has what's called an LEM, law enforcement modification trigger. And there's lots of videos out there about how this thing works perfectly. I'll do my poor man's job of trying to explain to you in case you haven't seen it. But basically, this functions as, it's really a double action all the time gun. If you just pull it with nothing cocked, it has a big heavy first action pull. But then every second pull, you'll notice the hammer moves. And it resets and then comes back again. It sets a striker inside there to fire, it cocks internally, even though the hammer moves. So it's a much softer pull and a more consistent pull. Here's how it works. So again, you load the chamber into the round. Again, if you do nothing, it's a big, heavy double action pull. But if you load one in the chamber, now the gun is cocked, but you notice the hammer is not back. In some of these, you can't actually touch it. But there's one in the chamber, hammer's not back, but you have a very soft trigger pull. And notice the hammer moves here. But again, you have a very soft pull. You fire the weapon. It chambers. You have the exact same pull again. And most people that use this gun, the law enforcement people that do use it, love it because it is the same trigger pull all the time. Most double action, single actions, you have a very heavy first pull and then the lighter pulls. But if you use the LEM properly, you load one in the chamber. Let me reset it. You load one in the chamber by racking it. And then again, your trigger is up, hammer's down, it looks like. So you can still safely holster the weapon. But then when you take the weapon out to fire it, you have a very, very light pull. And again, the hammer does move. It feels like there's lots of travel, but the thing is, it's so consistent all the time. So again, on most of the others, you'll notice if the hammer's back, you pull the trigger, the hammer doesn't move, right? It's just waiting for you to pull all the way back for the break. But on the LEM trigger, the hammer moves each time. It's already pre-cocked, but it just makes you have a very smooth, consistent trigger pull. I think it's probably the coolest safety feature of all of them. I don't shoot that one very well at all. There's too many things moving at one time for me. I'm not that good of a shooter. I will tell you, I know people who are in the Border Patrol that carry this specific gun, the P2000 and 40 Smith & Wesson with the LEM trigger, and they've shot easily, he told me, 50,000 rounds through it, never a misfire, and got used to the trigger and shot the trigger very, very well. So anyway, that's just a quick overview of all the different confusing kinds of trigger systems and safety systems that H&K offers. As always, thank you guys so much for watching the Arkansas Gun Guy.